welcome to the MasterCard Digital Doors webinar on digital presence and payments. I'm Carrie Jablino. I am the Director of Small Business Solutions for MasterCard. We're so happy to have you here today with us to hear about digital presence and payments. For those of you who are new to MasterCard Digital Doors, this is a very exciting program and platform that we have, and I'm going to introduce my colleague Amber Dawkins, who is our Vice President of Small Business for the North America team. So with that, I will hand it over to Amber.
Thank you so very much, Carrie. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to talk a little bit about our Digital Doors program. As Carrie mentioned, I am Amber Dawkins, and I lead our financial inclusion as well as access to capital efforts for the North America small business segment. And just to provide you with a short overview of our Digital Doors program, it is a program that provides educational resources, access to solutions and tools to help small businesses become more digitally enabled as well as financially empowered. We have a website that you can go to, which is www.mastercard.us/digital doors, that you can visit to take a digital readiness diagnostic to help you understand where you are on your digital journey and also receive recommendations on how to run, grow, and better manage your business. In addition to the webinar that we have today, we will be hosting webinars throughout the year. So you can find this information through the CVent registration page, as well as additional information that you may receive from your partners. After the session, you will receive a survey, and we would love to hear your feedback on what you liked and how we can make the session better. And so now I'm really pleased and excited to introduce our host for the evening, Martin Guerrero. Martin is a member of the Global Policy Partnerships and Community Impact team at Block. Block is a global technology company with a focus on financial services, and it is made up of Square, which is going to be part of a discussion today, as well as Cash App and other companies, just to name a few. He is an e-commerce specialist with nearly 15 years in the website and domain industry. Martin also heads up cross-functional partnerships and projects supporting Spanish-speaking and Indigenous small businesses and other community and third-party partners. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce our host for the evening, Martin Guerrero. Martin, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and share my slides here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being with us here this evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. I am here in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, where we hit 99 degrees today. So awfully warm for spring, but we're here for it. All right, so today we're going to be talking about bringing your business and your brand online. And so for us at Square, it's really important that we help our sellers understand the importance of owning their own online store, their own online store presence. And so there's a couple of key reasons for that. Number one is, when you own your own web store, you have full creative control. You can iterate on merchandising your products, how they're going to look, how you're going to talk to your customers, describe your products, and have ultimate control over the vision. And thank you, Carrie. As we go along here, if you have any questions, feel free to add those, and we'll get to those here at the end. Second, you do have control on price, right? There's many third-party marketplaces out there that do serve their purpose, especially for helping drive new customers to your online presence. But ultimately, you're paying higher fees. They're taking cuts of your sale. But with your own online store, you have control over that price and a complete control over your margins. And then third, and for me most important, is you own that relationship with your customers. When they come directly to you and to your store, right, you own that relationship. I can go to a food delivery app, for instance, and order directly to the app, and they're really just using the restaurant I'm ordering for as a kitchen, and I'm essentially the app's customer. Whereas if I order, to go directly through that restaurant's website, I'm their customer. They're dealing with me directly. Any issues that there may be are going to be dealing with them directly instead of through a third party. All right, so I've done a lot of, I've built a lot of websites for myself personally, for my businesses, for my family's businesses, for friends, and obviously through my work. And a lot of times I hear, when I'm working with folks, it's like, why you want to have a website up, and the purpose of your website really is that obvious reason for what you think a website can do for you. And on the left-hand side of the page here, I've looked at some of the most common purposes that I hear, right? Like, why do you want to have a website? What's the reason for that? And I'll hear someone say, "Oh, I want to get traffic to my website and grow my audience." It's like, okay, that's great, but really the goal that you want is you want to attract traffic, grow your audience because you want to sell them your newest ebook, right? To them, or someone says, "Oh, I really want to showcase my products," and it's like, okay, well, really, what you mean is you want to showcase those products and you want to sell them, and that's okay to say that, right? I mean, ultimately, you're a business. You do want to sell your products and services, so it's okay to say, "I want a website so I can sell my products and services," right? Instead of being just, "Oh, I just want to showcase them." It's like, great, if you showcase them and no one buys them, you may not be in business very long, especially if you're counting on the sale of those products. So again, all great reasons here. I won't go through them all. Great reasons to have a website. They don't necessarily help you do anything specific, which is why really when you talk about that purpose of having your own online presence, you're thinking about it as a goal, right? The goal is the real reason why you want and need a website. It's what you want to happen as a result of having it. You can have the most beautiful website in the world. It's got all the bells and whistles, but if it ultimately doesn't convert into sales, into new consultation registrations, into new haircut bookings, whatever that might be, it's really not going to do essentially what you want it to do. So let's now go over some of the content you would need to make your website really happen. And so we'll talk about that in terms of website essentials, right? Really what every small business website needs. And I think of it this way: we're all consumers here, right? We're all shopping online. We're all shopping through our phones. So this is nothing new shouldn't really be anything new to you, because whether you're a brand new website for the very first time, or you go to one of the busiest websites in the world, they're going to have these elements, right? Every single website does. It's because it's familiar to us. When we go to a website, we want it to be familiar. So these are the things that do that. Number one is a logo. If you have one, and you really should, it's going to be displayed. It should be displayed right away, making sure that logo fits into your brand in every way, especially with the colors and the fonts. And you'll see for most websites, it's usually going to be in the upper left-hand corner or right in the upper center there, bold and bright, right? One of the first things you see. That primary image is going to be, again, the main piece of content folks see, and that's what it's referred to as a primary image or a hero image, and usually it's what you see before you scroll down on a website, what folks would call above the fold, which is an old newspaper term that's still used in terms of websites, which is odd, but it's above the fold, right? So when you see a newspaper, it would be folded. The very first headline, very first image was all right there to catch your eye and make you purchase that. The search box, I like having a search box, especially because when it's in that upper fold in that first section that you see, simply having that option to search puts your buyers at ease, even if they don't necessarily use it, right? Knowing that it's there is a transparency cue for your buyers. Knowing that they don't necessarily have to scroll through all of your website, kind of go through a dozen pages to find what they need. They can just go into that search box, type it, find it, get to it, and be done, right? Let them know, hey, I'm not hiding anything. If you want to find something specific, search for it, you'll find it. It goes without saying, mobile first. I mean, really, every single one of us is walking around with one of these in our hand or in our pocket at all times. Most e-commerce sales are happening today on a mobile device, and I can speak to Square. Square online website stores, 80% of their purchases are coming from a mobile device. That's, just a few years ago that was unheard of, but 50% was like a magic number. But now over 80% of the sales coming to Square Online web stores are coming from a mobile device. So you always have to make sure that website is mobile first. Most website builders out there are, because it's so important. It used to be that you had a desktop site and a different mobile site, and they didn't necessarily match up. Those days are thankfully long gone. Most every website out there is going to be responsive. So whether it's on a big desktop, a laptop, and a tablet or a phone, that same website just fits to the screen that it's on. The footer, the footer is that bottom section of your website that every single page has. It's the same across every page. And for most people, when they go to your website, they're going to look across the navigation area there. They're going to look at your photo, going to scroll down, get to the footer to find out, how big is this web page. They're going to be down at the bottom there. Great place for you to have your social media icons, contact information, even newsletter sign up forms. Secured, I have secured on there. Again, this is something that at one point used to be an optional thing for a website, whether it was secured with the, you'll see, like if you're in an address, if you're in a web browser right now, you'll see a little lock in the address, the Zoom address there, because it's secured. And that didn't used to always be the case for some, but now Google, Firefox, Microsoft, they all require that your website be secured in order to be indexed. So definitely something that you have to have, especially if you're taking any type of payment on a website. It's a absolute must have. Speaking of social media links that you can put in your footer, right? This goes to social proof, things that are familiar. Folks are new to your business, your brand. They're going to do some investigating, and that usually means looking at your activity on social media. What are people saying? Are they reposting? What are you posting? What type of content? They're going to look, right? That's just going to happen. So having that there front and center, either in the upper part of your web page or in the footer, and on every single page, having that there, letting them know, hey, there's my social media. Go check out what we're saying. More importantly, what other folks are saying about us. All right, and then last, standard pages. Again, we're all consumers, so we all are familiar with home, about, contact us, gallery, right? Photos, like those standard type of pages. That's not to say you can't have any other type of pages, but having those standard pages so folks can quickly and easily see, oh, this is what I'm familiar with, right? I know I can go here, here, and here, and I know what kind of content will be there. All right, so those are just some of the basic essentials, right? Before they get to your website, they've got to type in your address, which would be your domain name, right? That's your address on the internet. And so when you're considering registering your address, right? Here are some tips for that. In my life and career in the website and domain industry, I've purchased well over 100 domain names and sold quite a few. Obviously, the most common domain extension out there is going to be your .com, which was one of the first domain extensions, standing for community, followed by .net, .info, .org. Again, most of those were some of the first domain extensions, which is why so many sites use them and are the most recognizable. There's a plethora of new domain extensions coming out all the time. So whatever might work best for your business, consider that as well. Number one here, making it easy to spell and memorable. When I say make it easy to spell, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. But what I see a lot is people using different spellings of a word. Like the word express is probably the most common one. You can spell it with an E at the beginning, or you can take off the E and just start it with the X. It's the same exact word, spelled, said exactly the same way. But if I go to two websites with that, if I go to the domain name with each of those spellings, it could take me to two totally different websites, two totally different brands. So you want to make sure, if you're telling someone what your domain name is, most folks are going to usually go with the most common spelling, which is going to be the E. So just be cognizant of that. If your domain name's long and complex, right, your customers risk your customers mistyping it, misspelling it. As short and simple as you can is the way to go. Again, so a domain name can only have letters, numbers, and hyphens in it. So those are the only characters you can use. I would definitely avoid hyphens if at all possible. Most domain names out there don't have hyphens. So I would avoid that because folks are normally not going to put that in there, especially if you don't have it in front of them that your address has these hyphens in there. I would avoid those. Folks try to, oh, my domain name is already taken. Let me just register one with the hyphens in there, to avoid that. I would avoid doing that all possible. With numbers, again, that kind of goes with, you can spell the number or you can use the numerical way. So if mine is, 5guyshousecleanings.com, is it the number 5? Is it 5 spelled out? Do I have both? Do I have both domain names? If I do, I can point both of them to my one website. If I don't, maybe a competitor purchased the other version and is pointing it to their website, hoping to siphon off some of my business. So just be careful with those types of those domain names, as they can be a little confusing there. Use keywords and research your domain name. I would definitely, you want to research what's out there. If you have maybe a business name that isn't, easy to say or, memorable, you can use keywords in place of that go to your website. So, if mine is, Martine's windshield repair, business, whatever that might be, maybe I don't want that long name. I just have, again, I'm in Arizona, so maybe I have ArizonaWindshields.com or ArizonaWindshieldReplacement.com, right? Which is something someone might type into Google to search for a windshield replacement, right? Arizona windshield replacement, or if you're only going to be specific to one city, maybe I type in, Phoenix windshield replacements, and being that those keywords are in my domain name on my website, that might make my website come up earlier or higher. And when they get to my website, it says my name, right? Martine's Windshield Replacements Service, right? All my info is there now. So definitely take a look at that. When you're choosing a domain name, if you find something that you like that's catchy, memorable, register it. Domain names have been around for quite some time now. Very difficult to find short, easy domain names that are just available to register. You might be able to buy them. Like folks do resell domain names. So if you find something that you like and it's available, domain names are $10, $20 a year. So really inexpensive. I would definitely lock that in. Even if you think you might change it, you do usually have a little bit of leeway to cancel and get it refunded. But if you do see something that you think you might use, I would lock that in and maybe use it later, or maybe you hold on to it and see if you can resell it. There's a whole industry of folks that register domain names that they can find, and they hold on to them and eventually sell them. Domain names have been purchased for millions of dollars for big brands that someone thought of before they did. So they're definitely valuable. They're real estate on the internet. So that you can see, real estate does go up in value. So if you have something that no one else has, it can be relatively hard to get. Once you've got your domain name, right, only you can use that specific domain name. Attach it to your website. What else can you do with it? You can register your social media handles around that business name as well, so everything matches. The other thing is going to be you can create custom email around that as well. So once you've got that domain name, it can be like my name at mydomainname.com or business at or president at, whatever that might be. Only you can do that now. When you're shopping online, you're really paying close attention to those images, even if you don't realize it, right? Subconsciously, we're looking at the images because we don't have a salesperson in front of us to tell us how awesome this product is or to touch and feel it, right? We're wholly depending on those images in order to make a buying decision. So really important that the images you place of your products on your website showcase them as best as possible. This is for example, I use, and not that this is a bad image here, but the green background isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the reflection, you see how they've taken a picture on like a glass tabletop, and you can see the reflection in it, kind of makes it a little blurry. You kind of pay attention to that a little more, right? And then you're trying to figure out what that pattern is. takes away from the product itself. If you do any shopping online, you'll notice most products are going to come with a clear or white background and showcase that product. This is that same product with the white background, no reflection, really makes those pastel colors really stand out. And that's not to say that you can't have colored backgrounds or even textured or pattern backgrounds. If that's what your brand calls for, you can definitely use that as long as it doesn't take away from your overall photo here. And I'll be able to share the slides with the MasterCard team. So if they do an email follow-up, we'll be sure to include those with those as well. So there's a lot of text on here. So if you're not catching it all, don't worry, I can share the slides. Whether you're taking the product photos yourself or you're hiring someone, right? Some best practices here, especially if you're doing it yourself. Take a lot of shots. Don't just take one and think, oh, that's the best I can do. Take a bunch, different angles, different lighting, right? Different distances from your product, and really find out what brings out the most in your product and how it's going to look the best online. Again, this photo has to really convey what this product is made of or what it's going to be like without you being there to tell someone, hey, this jacket is really nice, it's really soft, it's going to fit you perfect, right? You're not there to tell them that. Your product descriptions and your photos are going to have to do that for you. And so that's photos. Next up, talking about video, which is really the king of content right now. You look at platforms like YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, right? Video is the ultimate content. Even Facebook, Instagram are using it more and more. So it really is, again, the king of content. These are just some of the more common types of video that are used out there. Number one, your educational videos, right? They're helping your brand discoverability. Really the best type of content is to help you achieve your goal. Your product videos geared, showing your product's benefits to help really resonate with your audience. It doesn't just list up all your features. You don't have to necessarily do that. Your company videos, or what you call culture videos, right? Everyone wants to feel like they're a part of a great story. Use these company videos to really tell yours. Show them the real people on your team, the real struggles you're going through, to really help humanize your brand and to boost trust, right? Folks know, oh, I see Martin's Instagram videos, his stories, showing us what's behind the kitchen or them making the jewelry or sewing the clothes, right? You can see these are real people, real family that I like doing business with. FAQ videos, some of the most common out there, right? Really to help answer the most common doubts that your clients have. Clear FAQ video can make those doubts disappear. Testimonial videos. These are probably the ones I love the most besides the culture videos, because they can be really, really powerful. They can help you build up your brand's trust by showing your clients talking about you and maybe about their initial pain points and how your product or service solve that for them. Again, this goes to social proof. I expect when I go to a website, the brand that I'm dealing with, it's going to tell me that they're awesome and everything they do is great and the products are awesome, right? I expect that. They're selling me their product. But when I see on their Instagram, for instance, someone that bought something from them and I was sharing, man, I bought this product from abc.co. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's everything they said it was. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Oh, right. That's a real person that's not hired necessarily to do that. For most, if it's a promotional video, they have to label it as that. But folks that really like your brand and like doing business with you can really, really help you boost that up by sharing your videos. So at any time that you can, testimonial videos, very, very powerful. How-to videos. I mean, that's essentially how YouTube started, right? How do I do this? How do I do that? I've solved a lot of problems myself by going to YouTube and looking up how to do a specific thing. You can use those to show how your product can help someone solve their problem as well. When you're building out your website, again, I mentioned, they're not there in front of you to talk to, so you kind of have to drive them down a path to doing business with you, and that's what a call to action is. You can see here, I've got a quick shot of from the MasterCard website, the Digital Doors program, right? They've got this image here, and you can see that bright white button, Get Started, right? They're telling you, if you click this button, you're gonna get started, right? You know what the program is, click here to do that. Without that, maybe you just keep scrolling, you kind of, you go down another path and you lose focus. You keep scrolling down on this page, there's another call to action to get started there as well, to let you know, hey, we're offering this great program, click here to get started. It's not a please or a thank you, it's just a, hey, get started. Think of it as someone coming into your shop and saying, oh, where do I find leather belts? You say this way, right? You're telling them where they need to go. That's what a call to action will do for you as well. And you can see, I mean, these are some of the more common ones. We're all familiar with these. We've all seen these on other websites, right? Buy now, shop now, upgrade today. These are all calls to action that are using to, again, guide you towards doing business with them. Email marketing. I love email marketing. It's still one of the #1 channels for return on your investment. If you can do that, if you can do that well, if you take the time to to build an email list, even if you're a brand new business and you've got a brand new website up and running, you don't have any customers, it's a good idea to have a form for folks to fill out to get info from you at a later time, right? You start building up that list as you get customers. They start getting added to the list as well, right? So start doing that. And when you're thinking of sending out that first email, think about what do I look forward to receiving in my inbox? I have a specific email that I use when I sign up for 10% off your first purchase, or give us your email to get this free download. Right? I have a specific email for that because I know what I'm going to get. So when I see these emails, it's what I wanted because I added my email there. So again, really great product. Tons of different options out there for you to be able to use. Highly recommend you start thinking about that very early on. All right, social media. it's a big one, right? A big topic and still constantly evolving. I like to think of your website itself as the center of gravity for your online presence, and really no social media account can replace your website, which again is like your digital home. So when you're thinking about getting on social media and doing marketing for your business there, great tools, for the most part, free tools, and carry and everyone is there. All the different platforms, they have their own audiences. So thinking about which platforms you want to be on. If your audience tends to skew younger, you're probably looking at something like TikTok. If their audience tends to skew a little older, then you're probably looking at Facebook. And in between that is Instagram, which can handle both. All right. So doing your homework, doing your defining your strategy. Which platforms do I want to be on? Where, most importantly, which platforms are my customers on? Right. And this can be whether just doing some informal surveying of your customers or potential customers, or other brands that maybe offer what you offer. Where are they and where are their customers? So looking at that, engaging with your fans. That's the great thing about social media, is the ability for you to be able to engage with those fans. They go there because they know there's someone manning this account. If I reach out to them, I'm gonna usually get a response. If you're one of those that doesn't respond, you're gonna get that reputation that folks are gonna know it's probably bogus. They're not gonna want to engage with you. So how do you engage with people, right? You create shareable content, and we'll go over what kind of content that can be, and then how you can measure that success. So breaking down the types of content here, they're going to look really familiar to the video series, right? How to, reviews and testimonials, inspirational, insightful, emotional. I like the emotional one specifically because I like the example I have here. A greeting card company could show a child, opening a birthday card from their grandparents as a reminder that email or video chats aren't everything. Sometimes getting that physical gift, even something like a card, can mean a whole lot more than just a phone call or a text or like a FaceTime chat. Really pulling at those heartstrings there. And again, inspirational. We've seen those, right? Folks posting, rise and grind, have a great day, those types of things to get people to, to have a great day. Again, reviews, testimonials, super powerful content. Social media is definitely the place for those. So, when you get folks that, when you see folks that reshare your media, your content, and maybe they're even resharing that they bought something from you, it's always a great thing to reshare theirs to show them that, hey, you've seen them and you love that they're sharing your product or service, and now you're resharing their product or service, and maybe you have a lot larger following than they do. Now you're introducing that person to your larger network, and maybe they get some new followers. So it really helps everyone out there. And I mean, who doesn't like that? Some major brand out there reshared your content. I know it's happened to me before randomly, and it's like, that's awesome. They shared my content. Like this big brand, knows, little old me here, and it was cool enough to share my content. So again, really, really powerful content. Again, insightful. One of the more common hashtags out there, the most is hashtag BTS, and that stands for behind the scenes. Folks are looking for what's going on behind the scenes, right? Again, it might be the chef showcasing the new special of the day and how they came up for it, their inspiration for it. Maybe it was their grandmother's recipe, and now they're really proud to offer that to their diners and really showcase the ingredients that they use in cutting and grilling, whatever they're doing, versus the usual post of the beautiful plate already created, beautiful table, dining room, right, showing some of the nitty-gritty behind the curtain. All right, so you're creating content, different types of content, specifically content that your followers really want. What does success look like, right? Followers, fans, views. Those numbers are great and really can give you a sense of your reach, but really what you want to be looking at is engagement. Are people responding to, commenting on your content? Are they sharing your content? Really pay attention to what content your followers share, right? If they're not, if all you're putting out there is, new sale, new product, new sale, new product, buy now, that gets really old really fast. You kind of have to mix that up. I mean, we all understand you're going to try to sell to us, so those do have their place, but that, again, that inspirational video, that review, a how-to, right? Really look at what they're engaging with, so because that's the content they're enjoying from you, so you can do more of that. Clicks, action, right? Are folks doing what you're asking them to do? If you're on social media, you'll see it a lot. Click the link in my bio for more information, right? Because they're directing you to their website normally. Are they clicking on that link? Are they, once they're getting to your website, after clicking on the link in your bio, what are they doing there? Are they signing up for your newsletter? Are they submitting a contact form? Are they setting up a new consultation? Are they buying what you're selling, right? So you can know, is this really working for me? Going back to that call to action discussion earlier, I'm calling them to action. Go here. They're on the website. Now I'm telling you, do this or that. Does that end up leading where you want it to lead? No. For those of you that are starting business, right? You're a baker. You've gone into business to do your thing as a baker. You didn't realize you're going to be an accountant, a social media manager, a website designer. I get that can be overwhelming, but if you take the time to do it, it can definitely be done on your own or with help from family and friends. Take your time with it. Start off slow. Start off with some of the basics, and then build on that. It doesn't have to be everything all at once. You don't have to be on every single platform posting every single minute of the day, right? You'll figure that cadence out with your followers. All right, we talked about mobile earlier, being mobile first, and just thinking about your own behavior, right? Thinking back to the last time you needed to order a last minute gift or order dinner or carry out or made an impulse while buying impulse buy while on social media, right? All on your phone. How do you prioritize mobile? I like to, when you think about mobile and we think about our phone, right? Our real estate on the screen there is much smaller, so we have a lot less room to gather attention. And even for the biggest of brands, I love this example here of Nike.com, right? Really plain, right? White background, photos really pop, but they have a little bit of color in the background, right? The little bit of gray shading there on the background, but that Nike red is very prominent. You can see that in the just in and the coming soon, that Nike red, that's their brand color, really pops because everything else is plain. Again, you don't have a whole lot of room on a mobile device where most people are buying from. So you need to make it as clean and clear as possible. So a lot of mobile design has really gone to really a clean aesthetic, because again, folks don't want to be digging around. They don't want to be using up all their data. Most have unlimited now, but they want to get to it as quick and easy as possible on a mobile device. So when on mobile, we're thinking your brand is your colors, your fonts, your logo, your domain name, right? Those are the main aspects of your domain name there, of your overall brand. So making sure those are all translated really well to mobile is highly important, and will lead to better customer experience and buyer interactions. All right, so that covers the bringing your website and your brand and your business online. If we have questions, again, please feel free to ask those. We'll get to those here at the end. But we do want to go over a little bit of payments as well. Again, I work for Square. I work on our community education team. So I do a lot of webinars, workshops in person on folks looking to start, run, or grow a business. And we talk about all the tools that Square can have. And if you're familiar with Square, you probably know or recognize this little white card reader, which really signaled the challenges business face with taking payments, and Square really changed the game there. But this is the past, right? This is 2009. We're in 2023 now. Really excited for what's next. Of course, you have tap to pay payments, you have chip card payments, you still have magstripe. Eventually, magstripe will go away, and chip and tap will be the only payment options. But really excited to announce, if you're not familiar with it, we now have tap to pay on iPhone, which means you don't even need a reader anymore in order to take payments. So you can have the Square point of sale on your phone, ring someone up, click tap to pay. They can tap with their phone, with their card, which can be tap enabled, or their phone, which has any number of wallets on it, Apple Pay, Google Pay, their own card, whatever that might be, right? They can just use their device, tap right on your phone. No more losing that little white reader, or having break or whatever. If you're using something that requires battery, all you need to have is your phone charged. Really quick, easy, mobile, lightning fast. Really excited for tap to pay, and glad we were able to partner with MasterCard in order to enable that for tons of businesses out there to be able to do that. So when we talk about payments, I know for most people, when they think about payments, they're thinking about someone handing you a credit card, right? And you taking that credit card, swiping it, dipping it, tapping it, whatever that might be. Most people think of, right, an in-person transaction when they think about that. And it's just so much more than that now, right? You have online payments where you can set up an online ordering site, sell through social media like those platforms that we just talked about, checkout links where you can send just a text or even a message in your social medias to be able to pay, or you can integrate online payments to really almost any existing website in any format. Of course, you have in-person payments at a countertop or on the go, right? With your point of sale that sits on a counter, a point of sale that you can take to a tabletop. We just saw the point of sale, the manual point of sale on your phone with no hardware needed, right? Tons of different ways you can take payments there. Remote payments, right? You can create and send digital invoices, sell by text message, and get paid really anytime, anywhere. You can let your customers pay online with credit card. They can also do bank transfers and more remotely. Phone payments, and you can still you can use a virtual terminal to sell by phone and key in payments on your computer, on your laptop directly without needing any hardware. You can also use a virtual terminal in person and connect hardware to it instead of a point of sale type of device there. You can do that as well. I know we have a little bit of time here, so actually I'm going to do a little demo here real quick on that, because I want to really show you that you can do a lot of different ways of taking payments without necessarily needing some hardware. So let me find it here. Okay, you should now be seeing the Square point of sale. Great, thank you. So I'm just on my phone here, right? So we have the point of sale here, and normally you're gonna type something in or even add something from your library, right? Where you can review the sale. Of course, you can have this attached to a contactless chip card reader where someone can insert their card in the chip reader, tap. If you have a swipe card reader, you can do that. Again, there's tap to pay on iPhone where someone can tap their card there. It brings the overlay screen, so you really can't see what's next there. But I mean that easy, right? I just click tap to pay on my phone, and someone can just place their card or phone right onto mine and process that sale. You can take gift cards, right? You can sell electronic gift cards out there. You can key those in or scan the QR code. Speaking of QR codes, a very, very popular payment methodology there that really saw its light in the sun when COVID first hit, right? Someone's in front of you. Oh, I don't have my card, but I do have my phone. For whatever reason, maybe they want to just scan that, right? You can say, here's my QR code. Just scan it with your device, authorize the payment, it goes through. They see that there. Or if you're selling something that's the same price all the time, right? You can share that QR code anywhere you want it to. They can scan it, they can buy it. We mentioned invoices earlier, right? You can send an electronic invoice, goes right, name, amount, and email. You can send an invoice that quick. You can break it up into payments, right? Or you can do a deposit, however you want to do that. I mentioned the payment link. This is a link that you can send via social media. You can share it, airplane, whatever you want to do, or you can send it via text message. I can just type in your phone number. You'll get a text message link here. That is not my number. You can send a text message, right? Someone can receive that. Again, this person could be anywhere, in the world, and they would get that, link. And so you can see here, I've got that text message here. I just click on it. I get to a secure checkout page. Again, it's secure. We have to have that, and they can go here and pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, or they can just type in their card number right here. If it's a customer that you've dealt with in the past, they can save their card information there under Square Pay, and they can that can instantly be there. So again, just a lot of different ways that you can think of in order to take payments without necessarily just someone handing you a card there, right? You can still take cash nowadays, right? You can do that with a point of sale. There's of course never any fees for taking cash, but again, this goes into your reporting. Your customers get a receipt. Same thing with the check option on there. You can take a check. We won't authorize that check or anything. You'll have to take it to the bank, but again, it records that payment. Just a lot of different ways that you can make payments there without, again, necessarily having to have someone's physical card in front of you. And you can update this. You can change which payment options are here. You can choose not to do some of the payment options if you don't want to. Again, that payment link, you can share it on your social media. You can put it in your email marketing, whatever you want to do in order for folks to just click on the link and be able to buy it in order to to do that. Again, we had mentioned also as well the tap to pay on iPhone, which again I really love. It's and the folks that I've it's only been out a few months now, and for the folks that I've met in the wild that are using it are really finding it really just awesome, and that it's easy to do. No hardware. That covers the point of sale. And I know before we get into any questions you might have, happy to answer those. Carrie's going to talk about some of the awesome programming that's coming up next.
Yes, perfect. So thank you everyone so much for joining the presentation. Before we jump into the Q&A, I just wanted, and again, if you have any questions, you can please go ahead and ask those in the live Q&A chat, which is on the right of your screen. Otherwise, I'm going to pose some of the questions that we've received into Martine. But one of the things, one of the reasons we're here this evening is because MasterCard really believes in small businesses and that you all are the backbone of our communities and the foundation of our economy. And that's why we're committed to delivering innovative solutions and resources for you to build and thrive in your small business. And so Martine's presentation today is just one of a series of webinars that we're going to be hosting throughout the year. Now that you have registered, you will be receiving email notifications of these in advance. All of the webinars are complimentary, and they will run approximately every 2 weeks. So our next session will be on April 23rd, how to prevent cyber attacks. This is actually going to be led by MasterCard's Cyber and Intelligence Solutions team. It's an excellent webinar and goes hand in hand with everything that you just learned from Martine about your digital presence. And then starting in May, we will be doing a panel discussion with our partners Lendio and Axion Opportunity Fund about access to capital. And we know this is a hot topic for many, if not all of you. So we really encourage you to stay tuned for more details about that. And as you can see, we have a lot more in our curriculum and coming up in the weeks ahead. And if you have other small business owners in your network, in your community who you think would benefit from being on a live session, please know that we will begin to repeat some of these sessions later in the year. So this will hopefully not be the first or last time that Martine will be here sharing his information with all of you. And of course, if anyone has any questions, comments, or needs assistance, please don't hesitate to contact us at digitaldoors@mastercard.com. So with that, Martine, I'm going to ask you to come back on to your screen just so that everybody can see you while we're perfect. There you are. So Martine, one of the questions that we had was, what does it cost to accept credit cards?
Oh, that's a great question. So a lot of folks think, right, and I run into this a lot with folks that are cash only businesses, that they fear that it's going to cost them too much. For a company like Square, right, there's no monthly fee, so you don't pay anything monthly. You just pay per transaction fee, and that fee for whether you're swiping it, dipping it, tapping that card is going to be 2.6% plus 10 cents per transaction. So when I do this live, I'll usually do like a $25 transaction, like a live transaction, because in the point of sale you can immediately see what that costs you, and I believe it's been a bit since I did. I think it's like 75 cents, right? Or it's either 25 cents or 75 cents. One of the other. Let's say it's 75 cents, right? So on the $25 sale, it costs you 75 cents. So you got $24.25 deposited into your account, right? You don't necessarily pay that. It just comes out of the transaction. But I would like to let folks know that, because there is a cost to it, but there's no reason to be afraid of that. Once you know what it costs, you can kind of figure that out. I don't know about you, Carrie, but I rarely carry cash.
Absolutely, I don't carry cash. I work for MasterCard.
Yeah, I rarely if ever carry cash. So if I walk up to business, maybe let's say I've got $5 cash on me randomly here, and I want to buy something, and it's $25, like I can't make that purchase, right? Or the biggest purchase you can get out of me is $5, because I'm usually not going to go to a ATM or anything like that. So you could either get that $5 from me, lose the sale completely, because if it's more than $5, or you can take my card and know that there's that little bit of cost to it. Maybe in your overall cost, maybe those go up. Just figuring that out really just makes it so much easier, because it really does expand your opportunities to do business.
Perfect, Martine. Thank you so much. So we have a question also. Should we use our personal social media accounts or create business accounts?
Ooh, that is a fantastic question. I would personally create a business one, because you want it to be that. I mean, there can be some intermingling there, right? Because you as the business are, you're going to be the business owner. But a lot of times it's easier to have a business specific one. Now, you can still interact with that, or you can tag yourself, or you can reshare that. But usually it's going to be better to have a specific business one. If you don't want to do that, it's always great to just start with your personal. As long as you're okay with all of the folks that you do business with seeing all your past personal stuff, right? So if you want to just do the business one, that's usually the better way to go.
Perfect. Now we have a question from Gloria. She asked, is this app in Google Pay? So I assume she's asking about the Tap on Phone app.
So the tap to phone right now is with Square, at least it's iPhone only right now. Android will be coming soon. And so it's a very, very recent launch. So started with iPhone and will be coming to the Google Play Store here shortly.
Okay, great. And Gloria, if that doesn't answer your question, please go ahead and leave another question in the chat. And then someone else asked, what kind of support can I get if it breaks? So I'm also assuming that also is referring to app support.
Yeah, so Square does have a full support team that you can do live chat, or you can call in live. We do have support centers here in the U.S. that you can call it and get support with. Obviously there's new folks needing help getting started. Folks, something happens, and then as you grow with us, eventually you'll get someone assigned to you, like an account manager assigned specifically to you. As you grow with us, that will be like your main point of contact. But everyone can call in at any point to get support.
Okay, great. And what about monthly fees, Martine? Are there monthly fees for the apps?
For like taking point the tap to pay, no. For the Square point of sale, there's no monthly fee. It's all on that per transaction basis. Now we do have some like vertical specific, like for those that are doing a lot of high volume retail or high volume restaurants. We do have like specific to that, and that would be a monthly fee. But for the most part, folks are using the free point of sale, and that's just per transaction.
Okay, great. And sorry to be jumping around everybody between payment questions and digital presence questions, but we're getting a lot of great ones. So someone asked, how often should I update my website?
Oh, very important as well. That's probably one of the bigger mistakes folks make is they create a website, it's great, it looks good, and they leave it, and it gets really, it's a really static website. The search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing, don't like that too much, right? They're constantly searching sites for new information because they want to be able to provide the latest and greatest. Now, a lot of your content may stay the same on your website, but it's always good to post newer things on there, updates, images, videos, whatever that might be, to give it a fresher look.
Okay. Thank you guys for these great questions. We have a couple of more. How often should I post on social media?
That's a secret sauce. and that's really going to depend on how much folks are interacting with your content. I think if you're new to it and starting out, once a week is usually good to kind of get that going. I know, there's accounts I follow that are posting hourly, and that can get kind of tiring and kind of lose its value, but really just depends on you and how folks interact with your services. So weekly, if that's daily, then great. If it's, as long as it's not the same thing, right? It's not as long as you're not posting daily, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, right? That same message, that'll get lost really quickly. Having a good mix of content, personal content, inspirational, right? Of course, there's the selling aspect. You're a business, you're gonna hey, we've got this new product, we're having a pop-up event this weekend. Like, that's okay, just as needed.
Okay, great. And sorry to jump around, Martine, you're such a pro. Going back to a payment question, can I set a minimum amount in order to accept cards?
That would be entirely up to you as the business owner. I mean, I think for most point of sales, like the minimum you can process on a card would be $1. But yeah, that's up to you as a business to decide whether it's worth it for you, right? Like, okay, if I'm taking cards for a product that's $1.50, that's going to eat all of my profit, right? Like, I get that. So yeah, you can absolutely have those rules for yourself as a business if you choose to.
Perfect. Thank you, Martine. I think that handles every question that we got in the Q&A. But as we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, and thank you everybody for bearing with my technical difficulties when I was doing my introduction. If you have any additional questions, as we said, please don't hesitate to reach out to digitaldoors@mastercard.com, and we can certainly pass those along to Martine. One last announcement before we wrap for the night, which is tomorrow you will be receiving an email. It is going to have a very brief feedback survey. We would be so grateful if you could take just a minute to fill that out for us. It really helps us ensure that we are creating the right programs and content on our small business platforms in order to help you launch and grow and thrive in your business. So feedback is super important. And also in that in the email, you will have a link to access. I know we were getting some questions to access the recording of this webinar, as well as a PDF of Martine's presentation that you can download. So that will all be sent to you tomorrow via email. It's also something that you can forward along and invite any other small business owner to register and watch the recording. So as we said on the last slide, we have a lot of sessions coming up. We should be having about 2 a month. We're super grateful for our awesome partners like Martine and all of our partners at Square for all the work and commitment and help they are doing to really ensure that the small business communities are having everything they need to be successful. So thank you all so much for joining us this evening, this afternoon. We look forward to hearing from you and staying in touch. And thank you again, Martine. It was a really great presentation. And we hope everyone has a great night and afternoon. And we'll see you again in April. Thanks, everyone.